What you see here are the results of an experiment we performed a few months ago. We gathered the participants in a room and we asked them the following question. Are you in favor or against an energetic model based on nuclear energy? They had to write down on a paper their opinion on a scale from 0 to 10. Additionally, they also had to write down how likely it was that they were willing to listen to people whose opinion was different and try to approach their positions. After this, every participant had half a minute to try to convince the others that their opinion was the appropriate one. And finally, they had to write down again both their opinion and their degree of willingness to close the gap between different positions. We elaborated a contact network formed by people disposed to listen to each other. And as you can see in the image, after the debate, this network had compressed. The degree of consensus had increased. There is a bunch of issues we need to address as a society. Sometimes we need to get to a consensus to act effectively and solve specific problems. Complex systems theory studies systems formed by a large number of components that are very similar to each other and are in constant interaction. Some behaviors emerge from these interactions and will be impossible to explain them just taking into account each component separately. In other words, quoting Aristotle, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. We, human beings, work according to these rules. Which are the mechanisms that drive us to consensus, or to go into highly polarized debates with groups of people unable to listen to each other? If we want to solve social problems, we need to improve our understanding of the social fabric as much as possible. My PhD is in physics, so sometimes people ask me, well, this is not the sociologist's work. Indeed, and their vision is very powerful and complementary, but we don't have to forget that here, the object of study are the observers themselves, which is something kind of tricky. The best thing we can do is to tie efforts all together to try to get a glimpse of how collective intelligence emerges. For instance, in the first study I presented in my thesis, I used a very well-known model used in physics to explain the helium behavior, and I established a parallelism, making the necessary changes so it can be used to explain the opinion bubble formation on social media. There is still a lot to do, and cooperation is the key to success. The future is interdisciplinary. Thank you for your attention. My name is Irene Ferri and it's been a pleasure.